Hi, my name's Al Kahi, and I'd like to tell you about a few changes in my Google Meet attendance extension. Now, odd as this may seem, we're going to start by talking about another extension. The Google Meet attendance extension is the one with the green check mark. That's mine. There's also another extension called Meet Attendance, and I apologize that the names are so similar, but I didn't know about this extension when I named mine. And so the Meet extension has a red apple and a gray check mark. If that's the one that you've got installed, well, then we're not going to talk about it here. You're going to have to talk to clay.org, claycodes.org, or something other like that if you have questions about that extension. I'm actually going to right-click on the extension, Manage Extensions, which is going to bring up this little window, and the slider button allows me to turn off the extension. And the reason that I'm turning off that extension is that it uses an obscure CSS library that overrides the default display characteristics of many elements of an HTML page, and it really messes up the display of my extension. And so rather than trying to fix his CSS in my code, I just suggest turning it off altogether. So I'm going to start the meeting now and continue into the meeting. And as that starts up, I'm going to drag this off. Hopefully that's gone now. And once we get into the meet, there's been an update, and so you see this update text. That text is going to be displayed on the screen for 10 seconds. You can see here counting down, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it gets hidden automatically. So it just gives you an idea that there has been an update. Oh, and also it says down here, new. If you want to get that text back, simply click on the footer, and it will bring up this window again. And so the changes in version 0.7.4 are primarily related to fixes in the HTML reports. There were some inconsistent numbers, and I was adding things to a certain extent, adding things wrong. I'm a math teacher, and was adding things wrong, and so some of the times were not being displayed properly. That's been fixed. There's also a link in this screen that will eventually point to this video. It doesn't yet, but it will eventually. So it's kind of a little weird that the link is pointing to a video that doesn't exist yet. And I will continue to do that as we get to 0.7.5, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to make little videos like these just to give you some updates. Also like to quickly point out that the privacy policy was changed in 0.7.3, and the significant change in the privacy policy was I added the text, it might be updated from time to time. So the update to the privacy policy was it might be updated, just to give myself a way, that yes, I am allowed to change it. So no other changes to the privacy policy other than it may be updated in the future. Privacy policy is really quite simple. I do not transmit, I do not share, I do not do anything with personal information or class lists. Everything is retained on your browser in your Google context. So there's nothing shared or transmitted from mine, and I will never change that. I also don't track usage. So enough of that. I can close this window now and talk briefly about this little gear icon that's been added in the footer. If I click on that, it brings up a settings tab, and this allows you to predefine some values for future. So you only have to kind of set and forget, use them once, and off we go. This monitor attendance checkbox used to be in the address bar, but I moved it into the settings tab because, like I said, set it once and never change it. And this is essential for getting that minute by minute, was the student still in the meet. You can also automatically remove the checks from the previous meet, so you don't get an annoying confirmation dialogue. And one that was a couple of checkboxes here that were requested by a number of teachers and also by myself to prevent the unfortunately not unusual circumstance, the O2 common circumstance where you've completed your meeting and then you close the browser without saving the attendance file. So now there is a a checkbox that will auto-save the file as soon as you end your meet. And so we'll see that in action in a couple moments. And as I said before, the update text appeared for only 10 seconds on the screen because this field says 10 seconds. I can change that to 15 or 20 or 0, and that will affect how that update screen gets displayed. And I think that's enough on the settings right now. So here we have my little class. We're going to join the meet right now. Once again, as we enter the meet, there's going to be a pop-up text, pop-up dialog. Oh, I can, sorry, drag this out of the way here. I don't have to invite anyone else. And here is my meet. Now notice that the start time is 4:22, but the current time is 14:22. Current time is now 14:44. That's because I started my browser a while ago. I came into the meet, that set the start time, and then I left. And that can happen if you've got a class and then you come back and have another class. The start time is set for the first time, and unless you close your browser, it will be remembered. I can click on this little blue stopwatchy icon here, and you'll see that the 4:22 has been updated to 14:44, and now we've got our correct meeting time. The checkbox is selected, so we are going to monitor attendance. But remember that if you do want the attendance recorded, the attendance checked, sorry. I'm just dragging this over here. So if you want the attendance checked, all of the students must be visible on the screen for the duration of the meeting. To do that, if you have a small class, smaller than or fewer than 16 students, you can use the tiled layout. Click on the vertical ellipsis here in the bottom right corner of the screen. And that will bring up the menu here. I can then click on change the layout. And we want the tiled layout. When that updates, click on the tiled layout, and we're good to go now. Okay. If you have a class that is larger than 16 students, well, then you will have to use the grid view icon, the grid view extension. And what might be safest is to include yourself in the grid view, and also to enable the grid view by default, so it automatically turns on if you happen to exit and re-enter the meet. Closing this text here. One other small update in the UI here, and it's kind of going to be hard to see in the screen here, but there is a little check mark here beside the duration, and it does. And when I hover over the field, it says monitoring attendance. If you've accidentally unchecked the monitor attendance, there will be a red star, and the text will be in red saying that we're not monitoring right now. So just as a visual reminder in the event that that you're playing with those settings. So I think that's enough for this meeting. We've had a wonderful class. Everything's over. We can click on the red phone icon to end the meet. And notice here the text, it's auto-saved my HTML file. And you can see it down there in the bottom right corner of the bottom left corner that we have our class. Now, we didn't really have very much happening in that meeting, so I'm going to cheat a little bit. There's the file in our downloads. I'm going to open on one that was created a little bit earlier and has a little bit more activity. And so you can see the meet. A couple of quick little changes in here. In addition to having the start time, I now show the end time, and of course then the length of the meeting. The start time is highlighted a little bit more boldly at the beginning of the class, and then the time in and out. Notice that some of these little grid patterns have a diagonal pointing to the left, and others have them pointing to the right, and that indicates that I entered and exited the meeting multiple times, and so it just gives you an idea that there were multiple connections, and so that's just sort of a visual that you may see a student that's having connectivity issues, and someone who's solid green the whole time, they were there for with that one connection. If they've had to come in and out of the meeting, then you'll see that different pattern. And also this, the white sections here, I was out of the meeting, then I came back in. This one was out for a bit, a little in. Again, just a visual clue as to what's going on. And as I said, there were some updates in the HTML reports so that the information displayed in this little pop-up dialog is now consistent with these hidden columns. If you click on the star, we can see now, arrived at 11:22, was there for 26 minutes, and left at 11:59. In the pop-up, it also tells me that there were 5 entries. So this particular student joined the meet, left, joined the meet, and did that a total of 5 times. And so I believe all of this information is now consistent and correct, and hopefully everything will be good to go there. If you do have any questions or concerns about the extension, you can send a comment or add a comment to this video in YouTube, or go to the Facebook page. Otherwise, I thank you very much for using it, and hope that you're staying happy and safe. Take care. Talk to you soon.